Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into my official NFL week number 15 picks and predictions, where I predict the final score of every NFL game. And we have changed to the Christmas decorations, the Christmas blue. So let's get into it. Beginning with the Thursday night game. What a brutal game this is. You've got the over-under in the low 30s again. It is the Chargers dealing with the Justin Herbert injury. I don't know what you do. I'd probably just rest him the rest of the season, try and lose out, get a top pick, and get a new head coach, try and install a new culture into that team. We will see. They will be taking on the Raiders. The Raiders coming off scoring a grand total of 0 points, dealing with a potential Josh Jacobs injury. This is going to be a brutal game. I do think Herbert does not play, and the Raiders win one at home when they cover the 3-point spread with the under easily hitting. Although we thought last Thursday we would get an easy under, and look how that game turned out. But either way, I'll take the Raiders 17-10. Both of these teams injured. Very hard to predict a game like that. Next, we are moving on to some Saturday games. Yes, the NFL having a few Saturday games now that college football is over. Both of these teams coming in at 7-6, both in the wild card race. NFC versus AFC. Minnesota traveling to Cincinnati. Kind of a rare matchup here. Minnesota last week dealing with another injury. Justin Jefferson getting injured again, only scoring 3 points, benching Josh Dobbs. And they're taking on a Cincinnati team playing extremely well football right now. Jake Browning filling in, actually playing better than Joe Burrow. I will take Cincinnati here just based off of these two offenses last week. It's very hard to pick Minnesota, especially a dome team traveling outdoors against a Bengals team that's been really good the past 2 weeks, especially on offense. The next game on Saturday, this is the 4:30 afternoon game. It is Pittsburgh traveling to Indianapolis right now. Indianapolis sitting -2.5. Pittsburgh last week, the terrible Thursday night game. They do get extra rest, but I will be taking Indianapolis in this game at home. Pittsburgh with their offense in a spot like this, considering the unknowing surrounding Kenny Pickett, injured, possibly Mitch Trubisky starting again. You've got an Indianapolis team. They're good enough to win a game like this at home. Both of these teams are in the wild card race. I will take Indianapolis to win and to cover, even though the analytics slightly lean Pittsburgh. And then the 8:15 Saturday night game, so this is a triple header. It is Denver coming off a very impressive win over the Chargers, taking on Detroit. Now, Detroit is trending down a little bit. They've lost a few games. They just lost to Chicago as 3-point road favorites, but they come back home, and this is a situation where we can't overreact to Detroit. They're still a good offensive team. They're really good at home, and Denver, for as good as they've been here the past 6 or 7 weeks, I'm personally still not buying them. They still have a subpar defense. I will take Detroit to win this game and cover the 5-point spread. Let's not overreact to a few bad performances. I was against Detroit last week when I picked Chicago to win outright, but now I'm back on Detroit to cover a 5-point spread at home and score over 30 points. They are still a solid offensive team. Jahmyr Gibbs is developing very nicely. They will win this game by 10 points. Moving on to the Sunday 1 o'clock window, it is Chicago traveling to Cleveland. There's a cold weather environment. These are cold weather teams. Chicago is hard charging right now. They really don't need to tank at all, considering they already have likely the number 1 overall pick from Carolina. The Browns, on the other hand, with Joe Flacco playing better. Flacco seemingly has found something with the Browns here since he's come in basically off the street as a free agent. The Browns are sitting -3 in this game. Surprised they're only given a 57% chance to win, but I do understand that this is a good Chicago team with Justin Fields right now, and I've picked on them, and I can respect it, but I am taking the Browns in a spot like this at home, cold weather, that defense going up against Justin Fields. It should be a really good matchup. I will take the Browns, though, at home to win this game and cover a 3-point spread. The next 1 o'clock game, it is the Jets traveling to Miami. So the Jets getting that crazy home win over Houston, completely shutting down C.J. Stroud. Listen, C.J. Stroud's a rookie. It can happen. That's a really good Jets defense. They were playing at home. And then you take a look at this Miami team. The shocking blown fourth quarter lead where they were up 27-13. Miami was -10.5 last night after the Monday night game. It's gone down to 8.5. And I think this is another situation. Let's not overreact. Miami plays really well at home. The Jets still have a very bad offense. Yes, they won last week, but I think think this is a good value on Miami to come back and easily cover this spread. They've got such a massive talent advantage, especially on the offensive side of the ball. The Jets, they're just out of it. I mean, they're sitting at 5-8. You can say, well, if they win every game, it's just not going to happen. So I think Miami comes back after the loss in another home game and really holds serve here and wins this game 27-14 and doesn't blow a late lead. The next 1 o'clock game, it is Houston traveling to Tennessee. So this is one, there's a lot of unknown right now with CJ Stroud. His injury, will he play in this game? I'm going to say right now, I'm going to predict it with him not playing. Now, Davis Mills does have significant starting experience. It's not very good experience. He was bad last year, although Houston was tanking. But in a game like this, Tennessee, you can see sitting -2.5. The expectation is CJ Stroud probably will not play. Tennessee with the crazy Monday night comeback win. And I do have them winning this game at home and covering under the premises that CJ Stroud does not play in this one, although, they are sitting at 7-6. They do need to win these games in terms of the wild card and maybe even still a chance at the AFC South. But I will take Tennessee to carry the momentum that they have and win a home game against a dome team there. Next, we do have Tampa Bay traveling to Green Bay. Green Bay coming off the Monday Night Football loss to the Giants, sitting -3.5. This is a matchup where I just think Tampa Bay's offense is not going to be able to operate in the cold, personally. I have this game at 24-8, kind of a weird score, but this is the NFL. Tampa Bay, I understand they're in the race to possibly win that terrible division. I just don't think they're very good. And Green Bay, you can say what you want. Yes, it was a bad performance. You lose to the Giants. You were 6-point favorites. But now they're back home. They're in a very cold environment. They've got a great defense. I love Green Bay in a bounce-back performance. Still possibly as a wild card team. They're right in the thick of it. They will win this game. They're going to cover the 3.5-point spread. Don't overreact to 1 week to Green Bay's loss. It is what it is. They're home. They're facing a warm weather team. It's going to be a brutal environment. I just think Tampa Bay is going to have issues scoring in this game. The next game, it is the Giants taking on New Orleans, and my goodness, the Giants will not stop winning meaningless games. That's what they're known for this year. They're sitting at 5-8. They've won 3 games in a row, taking on the Saints. The Saints are 6-7. Very average team New Orleans is, sitting -4.5. The analytics love New Orleans, though, with around an 80% chance to win, and I will take New Orleans to win this game and cover. I have been betting against the Giants, and certainly they've been proving me wrong, but at some point, let's be honest, they're not going to cover one of these spreads. I remember that game against the Commanders when I said to take the Giants plus the 10 or whatever they covered, and then recently I've been wrong on them. But I will take New Orleans to win and cover in this game at home. Hold serve. They are in the thick of their division race. Next, we do have Atlanta taking on Carolina. This division is just so bad. Carolina, trying to predict these games. Sitting at 1-12, Atlanta sitting at 6-7. Atlanta 3-point the team that possibly is going to make the playoffs in this division is 3-point favorites over a 1-12 team. And I'm taking the 1-12 team, but I just think at some point Carolina is not going to finish the year 1-16. They're just not, in my opinion. So they will win a game at some point. I think it's going to be this one. It's like betting on Atlanta, betting against Atlanta. It's so demotivating. They're just such a blah team, with their offense and with the situation with Desmond Ridder and with the coaching situation. I will take Carolina in not really a shocking upset. They're only 3-point underdogs, but they are 1-12 on the year, so I guess it would be surprising if they won this game. Bryce Young did look terrible last week. We'll see if he can rebound at home in that one. Next, we do have Kansas City traveling to New England. So New England coming off their surprising win in Pittsburgh on Thursday Night Football. They get extended rest. You did have Kansas City with that loss and Mahomes. Oh my God. Mahomes threw a temper tantrum there at the end of that game. That was a real bad look. Kansas City, though, I'm not going to overreact to 1 week. They lost last week. I said they would lose. I think they come back minus the 10 and cover this spread. Let's not, again, overreact to 1 week. New England's offense has been terrible forever. Yes, they had a better performance. They're going to come back down to earth. Kansas City will stabilize. They will win this game easily, and I have them covering the 10-point spread on the road. Moving on to the 4 o'clock games, it is San Francisco traveling to Arizona. Arizona coming into this game at 3-10. Very difficult remaining schedule for the Cardinals. They could finish 3-14, possibly get a top 3 pick, maybe draft Marvin Harrison Jr. to pair with Kyler Murray, and you do have a San Francisco team. They're just running through everyone right now. I mean, they're covering 10-point spreads. They're covering 12-point spreads. This one's 13.5, and I think they cover this one just barely. They win this game by 16. At least that's how I have it. 30-14. That offense is very impressive. The defense is loaded. San Francisco is just an extremely well put together roster, and you're facing an Arizona team at this point. They really have no one, even with Kyler Murray back. I will take San Fran big. 85% chance to win on the road. That's very rare for an NFL team. Next, we do have the Commanders traveling to take on the Rams. The Rams playing better as of late. They're sitting -7. Kind of a big spread against the Commanders team that can put up points, but recently they've been bad. The Commanders are 4-9 right now, and they could get a top 5 pick. Like they're in the mix for it. I will take the Rams relatively comfortably to win this game. I love the over. I love a higher scoring game in a dome with the way these offenses operate, throwing the ball a lot, especially the Commanders possibly trailing for much of this game, trying to play catch up, maybe scoring some garbage time points. The Commanders are a team that tends to play very random games, so maybe they keep this one close, but I do love the over, and I do like the Rams, especially how they've been playing in the mix for a wild card spot. Moving on to the 425 premier game, it is the Cowboys traveling into the cold to take on the Bills. Buffalo sitting -2.5, sitting at 7-6. Look at the analytics. Like a 50.1% chance for Dallas to win this game. Very evenly matched teams, considering Dallas does not have home field advantage in this matchup. I am doing the same thing that I did last week. Everyone is surprised. How is Buffalo favorites? Dallas has been amazing. Yes, I've loved Dallas this year. I said they would beat Philadelphia. I said they would cover. But this Buffalo team, they've been due for positive regression. They're coming back to the mean. They're going to win another game and prove to 8-6. I have them getting a wild card spot. They win this game 25-17. Dak Prescott, I would say he's probably the MVP leader right now, but he's due for a bad performance. He's going into a tough, cold environment. We know how this Dallas team can struggle, especially on the road against good teams. I know they beat Philadelphia last week, but they were at home. This is a Buffalo team. They're gaining momentum right now, and I've got them winning at home. Next, we do have the primetime Sunday night game. It is Baltimore taking on Jacksonville. Baltimore coming to this game 10-3. They very likely have wrapped up the AFC North, but it is still extremely important to get that number 1 overall seed, especially after Miami lost. If they win out, they will be the number 1 overall seed. They are taking on a Jacksonville team, still fighting for the division, but still in first place even after the loss to the Browns last week. Baltimore coming to this game -3.5, and I do love the value on Jacksonville and a lower scoring game. I'm feeling a lower scoring game in this one. I'm feeling Jacksonville rising to the occasion, winning at home. They need this one badly to stay atop the AFC South. Baltimore, yes, they would love to win it, but they're still in first place. They're sitting at 10-3 in a really good spot. Kind of surprised last week, Baltimore, needing overtime to beat the Rams in a crazy high-scoring game there with a walk-off touchdown. Next, we will move on to the Monday night game, the final game of the week. It is Philadelphia coming off their blowout loss in Dallas. They've dropped now in the division. Dallas has the tiebreaker over them currently, but they have a very easy remaining schedule. This is the toughest game, I believe, on their schedule. It is on the road at a Seattle team who is under 500 at 6-7. Philadelphia coming into this game -3.5. When a road team is favorites by 3.5, I don't love that line. And you can even see the analytics, only a 58% chance for Philadelphia to win, but they've kind of struggled the past few weeks. I am going to take them to win this game and cover. This is still a very good team. Even though they are on the road in this game, I think they're able to dispatch of Seattle relatively easily and cover the 3.5 point spread. But guys, that is going to do it for my week number 15 edition of NFL Picks and Predictions. Make sure you're following me on X. Link to that's always in the description.